Today we're going to go over how to apply a gesso as a base on plank wood. These little hanging plank wood pieces. I think this one is like 10 by 12 or something like that. This piece right here. If you want to paint oils on top of things like this without doing some crazy things to the wood surface itself before you paint the oils, this is the easiest way to do it. And I paint in the wet on wet technique made popular by that guy right there, Bob Ross. So the way that, and he did this stuff too, the way he did it was put the black or gray gesso and even white gesso on the wood, let it dry. And it only takes a little while to dry. I usually give it about a half hour or so before it's ready to be painted on. Even these little notches and things in here, all this little stuff on this wood gives the painting character when you paint on top of it. So what I'm going to do to start out is kind of just pour a bunch on here, because it takes a lot to cover this up. These bottles hold a lot. You just pour you out some there. Pour out some gesso, and we use one of these little spongy brushes here because they're really cheap, and the gesso tends to ruin your good, beautiful paint brushes that you bought to paint with your oils. And you just don't want to waste your hard-earned money there by buying a nice little brush, and then you go and put gesso on it, and the gesso doesn't come off and it ruins your brush. Then you gotta toss it in the trash. So a lot of times, if you don't want to use these, you can use the acrylic or watercolor brushes. They're usually really cheap. You can buy those in bulk too. Use those and do exactly what I'm doing here. These just cover a wide surface. I can get this done really quick, and I'm going to put 2 coats on this. But you keep dipping back in there, and I go with the wood grain, with the way each slat is going, instead of going across, because those little grooves that you're going to have in there are the little areas in between each slat. Kind of grab a lot of that gesso and pull it off, and tends to keep a lot of it around those little areas where the wood slats go together. So I just do it like this, all the way across. And you always want to put you something here to catch excess paint if it comes off. You're gonna get a little bit dirty on this. Some people like to paint using latex-free gloves. My wife and I work in the medical field, so we use those gloves at the hospital all the time. You can pick those up almost anywhere anymore, because they've got their multi-purpose use. Me, I kind of like the idea of getting dirty when I paint, so I don't really care about getting a little bit of paint on it, because with a little bit of Dawn dish soap and some water, it all comes off. And I paint with oils, and Dawn dish soap really is the best for taking oil off of anything, really. When I first started painting exclusively with oils, I actually didn't have paint thinner, and most of that was just basically because I was a very novice oil painter, and I forgot that you had to have something to clean that stuff up with. So I quickly looked up, my wife actually did, on YouTube, and that's just where I'm going to be posting this video, oddly enough. But YouTube is great for everything. Just go ahead and use the old Dawn dish soap there to clean off the oils off your brushes, and that's what I did. Like I said, it takes a little bit of this gesso here to get on here, but that's okay. You don't want to lose your oils. You'd rather use up this cheap gesso, because gesso is really cheap compared to quantity wise. Now, this is 16 ounces there, 473 mLs, and I got this for I know under 10 bucks. Bob Ross's website, www.bobross.com has them. I believe that's where I bought this. I bought a lot of my stuff from bobross.com. Also, one of the places I found is really good, and I got stuff coming in the mail today from, I think it's Jerry's Artorama. Really good prices on everything on there, and they actually have stuff on there. You buy, I think it's like $35 worth of stuff most of the time when you go on to buy something online. Do you ever buy something for a couple dollars? No. Go ahead and spend that extra couple bucks, get you an extra knife, painting knife, or get you another palette, or this is my palette I use anyways for smaller paintings and things like this, where I don't care if let's just say that I've ruined a couple of these. Let's just say if I ruin this and I can't get stuff off, I'm okay. But that Jerry's Artorama, I believe that's what it is. That's where I get a lot of my stuff. Really good prices on Bob Ross stuff. He's got, the whole line of Bob Ross oil paints, gessos, other mediums, paint brushes, everything. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit more in here. I'm gonna go over this one more time. A little bit, the second coat that I go over is actually a little bit less than the first one. The first one, before this is already starting to dry, so up in here it's already starting to dry. It dries really quick. So as I'm coming down here, get down to the bottom, the top part's already starting to dry pretty well. So that's the great thing about it, is it starts drying really quick, so that your wood, I get untreated wood. It doesn't bother me to get untreated wood, because I put these gessos over top of it, and you still have all the wood grain and everything that comes out in this painting to make it really, really nice. So it starts drying. By the time you get down here, it's good enough to get back up here and start doing the same thing I just did again. Cover it all up. Then you just want to make sure you just don't have too much of the wood showing, because you can still paint over top of it with some of the wood showing, but you don't want too much. Like over in this spot, that might soak up some of your oil paints. So that's the gist of my point here, is that you really don't want to waste your oils, your really expensive oil paint that you put on this, because it'll start soaking it up really quick, and then you're adding more and more and more. And as you know, oil paints are pretty expensive. And the other mediums, they're not quite as expensive, so it's not as much of a hit to you to lose some of your oil, soaking into the wood. But these gessos, white, black, gray. There's actually like a yellowish or a goldish colored gesso that I believe that the Bob Ross Corporation sells. Let's see it. I believe so. I could be wrong on that, but I think so. It's either that, or like you have the liquid clear, liquid white. It's either a liquid opal or an opal gesso. I can't remember exactly what it is, but check it all out. It's all fun to paint with. I'm gonna try to do these little tutorials here and there as I'm posting my videos of me painting and doing my time-lapse videos. Just some of the techniques that I've learned, because I did not come up with any of these techniques. I'm not nearly that smart. Just kind of giving an easy way that I've learned to put gessos on and other things, so that you can take the wet on wet, mainly the wet on wet technique, but you can do any oil painting on any kind of technique you want on this. Take that wet on wet technique and just run places with it. I don't think anything's more fun than taking that wet on wet technique and just taking it and spanning it to other medias. I'm gonna do a little bit more, just a little bit more. Here it's only been a few minutes here. We've almost got this on. And then you wait about, I'd say after about 20 minutes you can start checking on it to see if it's dry. I just do the finger touch. If it feels like it's not dry, even if I don't fully paint off of it, if it feels like it's not dry, I do not paint on it. I wait. I'm eager to paint. I love to paint, but I will wait a little bit to get a good result. So I'm just coming in and filling in some of the spots that have just a little bit of wood showing. I really don't want much of the wood showing. I want to have a pretty even painting when I paint over top of this. There we go. I think that's about it. Let me see if there's any more on here to kind of toss on there. And that's it. Thank you for watching my video here. That's how you apply a gesso to a wood. This is untreated wood, like cedar plank, I believe. And if you like my content on my YouTube page, go ahead and click subscribe.